My name is Corrigan Clay, and my wife Shelley and I moved to Haiti in 2008 to adopt a child, and we were thinking at the time that we would probably start up an orphanage also.
I saw a picture of a little Haitian kid on the internet and fell in love with the idea of Haiti and a child from an orphanage and being able to give a parentless child a family.
So today we met Whittleson for the first time, and he gets to stay with us in the hotel in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, or somewhere near there.
And he's my new brother.
Yeah. As we were pursuing adoption, the orphanage director had asked us if we wanted to meet the child's mother. And we were kind of surprised because the thought was, well, wasn't he abandoned by somebody, or didn't he lose his parents, that kind of thing. The director of the orphanage said she comes to visit him every couple weeks. I was shocked, and I said, you know, why does she come to see him? And he said, well, she loves him and she wants to make sure he's okay, and she brings him gifts and things. Then when we met her, I asked her, you know, why did you bring him to the orphanage? And she said, I just didn't have enough money to feed him. I didn't have a good place to live. I was in City Soleil. There's like gangs and violence, and so the orphanage was the best solution for him. So we asked her, if you would have had a job, would you have kept your child? And she said, of course I would, yeah.
And it was like this shock, you know, of I'm spending $20,000 on this adoption to be able to raise a child that this mother wants. And the injustice of that really took me.
We began to have conversations with the families of these children and with the children themselves. In the orphanage we were in, there were 24 boys that we were taking care of at the time. 2 of them did not have living parents. As we started to learn about other orphanages too and ask questions and things, we found out that was fairly typical. That I would say conservatively, roughly 80% of the kids in orphanages in Haiti are not true orphans, but are poverty orphans.
This is another kind of corruption, another kind of destruction of this whole system. When I did the research for CARE, and I wrote about this in Travesty, couldn't find any orphans that didn't have parents. They all had parents. And when you really get into it, well, of course they have parents, because an orphan's a coveted position. It's school, it's books, it's maybe even a visa, maybe even an adoption. But it does perverted things at the lower level of the system, you know?
Some parents, because they cannot take care of their child, and they hear that somebody's opening an orphanage because some donor wants to do good and wants to open an orphanage, because he hears that children, Haitian children are dying or suffering, the parent would turn their own kid to the orphanage and would often go visit the kid once a month. But you've relieved the parent of the obligation to educate his kid, but you've also drained that kid out of emotional ties, of the love of a mother, the respect of a father, and that kid growing up may not have all that sense of responsibility. So you're actually creating that cycle of destruction.
After living in an orphanage for a year and getting to know the language and the culture and the people and really building relationships, we began to kind of see that the system of addressing the needs of orphans was actually a system that was creating orphans. The way that charitable organizations are addressing orphans in Haiti is symptomatic of a larger belief that says these are issues that must be addressed versus these are people that must be addressed. Issues are addressed institutionally, programmatically. People are addressed in their story, in reflexive dialogue, through questions and listening. There was one child in particular in the orphanage we worked in that when his adoptive family was coming to visit, I asked him, hey, are you excited? I mean, your mom and dad are coming, and he goes, they are my mom and dad. I said, oh, well, I know they're not yet, but they're going to be. They're adopting you. They're going to be your family. He's like, no, they're never going to be my mom and dad. This child was about 14. He said, no, my mom and dad are here in Haiti. I know them. My Haitian parents told me that I'm like the special kid in the family, that I get to go to the orphanage. I'm just going to go to the United States with these people, but they're not really my family. I said, well, you know, their expectation is that you're going to be a part of their family. And they'd probably be really hurt to know that you have no intention of really being a part of their family. We've adopted 2 Haitian children, Jackson and Ember. Ember's mother died after childbirth, and Jackson's mother abandoned him at the gates of the orphanage. She came with him and then was supposed to bring back papers relinquishing him, but did not. This is Jackson right here. He's a big boy, but when he was in the orphanage, he actually almost died of starvation twice, because this institutional approach at caring for kids, they were just plugging him with a bottle, and they didn't know he was lactose intolerant. And so he was throwing up all his food and just almost died twice, had to go to the hospital. And obviously now he's eating just fine. How are you doing, baby? We're advocates for adoption. It is broken and not right that a kid would grow up without parents. That's the very same thing that influences us to say, don't get involved with orphanages and adoption that are separating kids from their parents. If I was in a personal financial crisis and I could not feed my child, I could no longer pay for their school supplies or for them to go to school, I didn't have enough money for them to ride the bus, whatever, and somebody from some other nation came in and said, hey, you know what? We've got a solution. What we'll do is we'll set up a house where all the kids that have that problem can come live. They're not going to be your child anymore. You're just going to have to give them to us, but we'll make sure they have everything they need. Is that the solution that you'd want? And I think most honest people would say, no, I want to raise my own child. I just need a job. I need some way to make some money, and I'm going to take care of my kid.
So we had an intern who was there for the summer, and she knew what my vision was as far as starting some sort of artisan thing. Because we had a bunch of people in our lives, and there was about 4 women who had either given their kid up for adoption already or who were at risk for that. And so she said, can I invite them over for 2 days a week and just teach them how to make earrings? I was like, great, let's do it. Bonjour. Comment est? December of 2009, we had a fair here in Haiti, and I think we sold $800 worth of product, and we were so excited. We kept growing. We had about probably 16 to 20 artisans working. It was in our house, in our living room, in our garage. And then probably 2011, we started getting into retail. We got involved with designers like Donna Karan. We've been carried in stores like the Gap, Walmart, Disney has stuff. In 2011, in the month of December, we sold $100,000 worth of jewelry. We have about 220 people right now working. My vision is 1,000 people.
When my family first came to Haiti, we had in our savings, it was about $35,000. I thought that we'd start an orphanage and then be asking people to help us sustain that. So it would be this constant need for help. Because we started a business, now the amount that we came with, that's the amount that we're averaging in income for our artisans every month. It's not a charitable gift, here's a bunch of money every month, but it's something that they can look at and say, this is mine, I earned it, it's something that I can choose what to do with it, and somebody out there valued what I did and purchased it.
Maculin is a miracle story for me. I was walking home one day and walked up to my gate, and there's this woman sitting on the ground in the dirt with a baby in her arms. She was covered in scabies. Her baby's covered in scabies. They hadn't eaten. She came here looking for an orphanage. The last thing I wanted to do was send her to an orphanage. And I said to her, you know what? I'm going to make you a deal. Go get all your kids, come back here, and I'm going to invite you to work with us. And I'm going to just try it. Here she is in Port-au-Prince with her kids. She's not making any money yet, so she goes to live in a tent.
Avec tout moi-même, j'aime vinn dans tête nan, mes premiers sky m'vinn ouais, non seul petit pièce sky pour ma vivre avec ti moun yo. Comment vinn de tête nan vraiment chaud. Il vraiment chaud, il fait moun malade, il baille toute maladie. Vraiment pas vivre à l'aise.
Her kids were in a horrible situation, but she started to work. And she is an amazing woman. She's an entrepreneur. Within about 3 months, she had probably 10 employees of her own. She was talking about needing a house. I said, I don't have money for a house for you, but let's break it down into something that you can imagine. I said, if you need $2,000 for land for your home and you're getting $12 on a necklace, how many necklaces is that? It's less than 200 necklaces. And her brain just about exploded. I mean, you could see this click in her mind, her eyes opened up, and she's like, I can make 200 necklaces, that's not a problem. And it was about 6 months or something, and she bought her own property.
M'acheter un terre qui gagne des petites chambres sous lui. M'acheter un terre qui gagne des petites chambres caille sous lui. Qu'on y a là dedans, il m'pas vivre dans tête encore.
She did it herself. It's 2 bedrooms, it's her own. She never has to pay rent again. And she's now changed her life.
On gros bail de mi parce que vraiment malheureuse, maman me sous compte moi gen sœur et puis toute famille et sous compte moi tout. Et puis si moi moun pas gagner, si m'a travailler, bon Dieu fait m'a travail, faut me aider moun qui pas gagner. Ndane mais petit moun yo ta fini l'école et puis petit moun yo ta ka vinn on bagay de me, yo capable aider.
Nan bois pour yo sèche parce que mais regardez. Ça va bon, non? You see mostly men here, which a lot of people are surprised about. We started out with women trying to do a women's work initiative because that's sort of the thing to do, right? And we found that fathers are parents too. And we also found that in a family situation, if mothers are all that is needed, what role is there for a father? And that sort of contributes to the situation in Haiti of fatherlessness. Most of the guys here are fathers, and they're working to take care of their kids. He's got a baby on the way. He's got 2 children. He's got a baby, you know, and they're all doing a good job being fathers to their children right now. I think my biggest concern in even doing this interview is that I don't want to come across as critical to those who have helped and who have tried to help. As we grow and we learn and we figure things out in the same way that I've gone through that journey, that there is a better way to help. Giving power to the parents is exponential in how many kids you can help. I've estimated with 250 employees, we're helping at least 750 children, possibly 2,000 people if you think they're supporting their whole families. I mean, there's no orphanage that can be sustainable to take care of 750 children. I mean, an orphanage of 100 kids has to have a minimum of $400,000 a year. And they have to fundraise for that. And they have to pull out their flies on child pictures, you know, in order to do that, which then creates this whole model of those poor people, those poor desolate people. They're not desolate. They have hope. They have a way to get out of it. There's a way to fix it.